and welcome to this week's video where we will be exploring the history of Crickley Hill, which is to the east of Gloucester. If you're in the area, it is well worth a visit if simply for the views. There is a small charge for parking. At the time of the visit it was only £2 for the day, and there is the all-important coffee shop. Today I was joined by two great channels, Wandering with Watto and Kim's Picks 59. Link to both their channels in the description below. We were here to explore a site which we now know as an Iron Age hill fort, but was once a Neolithic causeway enclosure. There is so much history to unwrap here, and thanks to the Crickley Hill Archaeology Trust, this has become one of the longest and largest running excavations in the UK. The site has been excavated each summer from 1969 to 1993 and is considered to be an international importance as a result of the findings. Neolithic causeway enclosures are ancient circular or irregular earthworks surrounded by concentric ditches and banks, built in the early Neolithic period. This period of time started around 4000 BC. The term causeway refers to the presence of openings or causeways in the structures, serving as entrances or exits. These monuments, constructed through manual labour, and are often found in multiple phases, suggesting a long period of use and modification. While their exact purposes remains a subject of debate among archaeologists, these enclosures likely served various functions, including communal gatherings, religious or ritual activities, and perhaps trade. There are significant remnants of Neolithic society shedding light on the social, economic and religious aspects of the Neolithic era. I have to admit, I always had a bit of a romantic feel about the Neolithic people. In my mind, I always believed they lived a peaceful life, coming together to build these amazing monuments like Avebury. Meeting peacefully at the causeway enclosures, building these henges together. Yes, it was a very romantic and peaceful view of this era of people. I was aware that bones had been found with wound marks suggesting some kind of a fight, but I still thought they lived a more peaceful life. But it seems I was wrong, and here there is proof that things were not so peaceful as I once believed. The first causeway enclosure to be built here was around 3700 BC. As I mentioned, these enclosures are characterised by their distinctive circular and oval shape and a series of interrupted ditches or trenches with gaps or causeways at various intervals. Here at Crickley Hill there was a double ring of bank and ditches. It seems that the first enclosure was only used for around 100 years, as it seems when the area was excavated it showed around 3600 BC the ditches were filled and the site was abandoned. Then, for some reason, the area was reused again, and quite soon after it was first deserted. Around 3550 BC, the banks and ditches were now rebuilt, and thought this time it's believed they were more for defensive purposes. It seems there was a small settlement here and an area where flint working was happening, most probably for tools. There is also an area where a possible square building with a cobbled area had been found. One thought is the square building could have been some kind of shrine. And this is where my romantic view of the Neolithic people end. For whatever happened at the top of this hill, archaeologists are pretty sure that it ended in a battle. Around 600 flint arrowheads have been found, which shows an attack of the enclosure had happened around 3450 BC. Some have suggested that here is the first known battle that we have evidence of from the British Isles. Unfortunately, we have no way of knowing who was fighting whom or even why. Although the settlement was no longer used, the hilltop seems to be an important place as the ritual activity continued. As mentioned, a square building was found, which is classed as a shrine, and there was a path leading to that shrine. A stone cairn was positioned over part of that path. The cairn was later expanded and what is now called the Long Mound. Mainly animals were found during the excavation, as well as Bronze Age objects which were buried in the mound. The shrine in time was replaced by a circular cobbled area surrounded by small vertical stones, now known as the Sacred Circle. The long mound and stone circles have been difficult to date, but it is believed to have been built in the Bronze Age era, perhaps around 2000 BC. How long these monuments were used for we don't know. What we do know is that when the Iron Age began, people started to settle again on this hilltop. The Iron Age started around 800 BC, and here the Iron Age people started a settlement around 700 BC, and what a perfect spot for a hill fort. Ramparts for the fort was built and a number of longhouses were built within. There are blue markers on the ground which, according to the information boards, are where the post holes were from one of the ancient buildings, but it is not clear as to which period this building would have been from, but I am guessing it would have been from one of these longhouses, where they once lived and slept. It is thought about no more than 100 people lived here, and perhaps not enough to defend the fort. It seems this part of the hill's history again did not last long, possibly around 100 years. When the ending of the settlement ended again in a violent battle, this fort was attacked, believed to be captured and destroyed. The fort was rebuilt, and this time, instead of longhouses, roundhouses was built. The ramparts from the first fort were rebuilt, much larger than the first fort, and the entrance size was increased. But it seems that this was not to last long. The roundhouses were destroyed, and the site was once again abandoned around 400 BC, with some archaeologists believing the hill fort fell under attack, making this the third battle on the hilltop. It seems that this area was abandoned for some time, and it wasn't till 400 AD did life appear back at Crickley Hill. And this is the final time that the hilltop had a settlement. After the decline of the Roman period, Britain entered what is classed as the Dark Ages, a period in history where there was no Roman army to defend the country, and battles began between the Anglo-Saxons, who are believed to have invaded, and the Britons. But soon the Anglo-Saxons took control of Britain. It seems the 400 AD settlement was a small settlement and close to part of the Iron Age ramparts. There also seems to be a few buildings where the sacred circle once was. When the settlement was no longer used, we don't know, but afterwards it seems the land was used for grazing animals. In later years, quarrying started during the medieval period, and more so during the 19th century, which have left their marks on top of the hilltop. Last quarries closed in 1960s, shortly before the first excavation started in 1969. And the reason we know so much about this amazing site is due to the dedication of the people investigating this site over a long period of time. We have to wonder if more sites were excavated over a period of time such as this area, would we know more about our ancestors? This really is a brief look into this area. I will add the Crickley Hill Archaeology Trust website's link in the description, which also have drawings on what the site is believed to have looked like and more details of what has been found. So if you want to know more, I would highly recommend looking at this site. Next to the coffee shop there is a small information room which also has more information, and again I would recommend visiting this place if you're ever in the area. So this is all for the video. I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I've enjoyed making it. I would like to thank Wandering with Watto and Kim's Pix 59 for joining me on exploring this amazing site. Before I go, I would like to say a big thank you to the viewers and subscribers of the channel, to the Patreons, and for those who have bought me coffee. This channel wouldn't be the same without you. Your support has made it all worthwhile, and I'm grateful beyond words. So if you're new here, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Also, click the notification bell so you'll never miss an update. Until the next time, stay safe.